Did you remember it?
No, I don't remember it, but I remember that my sister and me, we had something like this. It wasn't a podcast or something, but when we were little, I think I was like 10 or something, and she's 2 years older, and we started like a news show or something, and we were just moving into the house we built it, and it was so funny. I don't know, we made the table out of something, I don't know, but she was even doing it sometimes alone. And she was sitting there in the living room in front of the window, and she had the camera set up, and she was sitting at the table like, so the weather today, and then she looks outside. It was like, yeah, it looks a little bit cloudy. Maybe it will rain, but maybe not. I was like, okay, great, good to know.
Very helpful.
Yeah. And then you hear like the door opening, and then she's like, get out, get out, get out, get out. And she's like, okay. And my mom came in, and it's so funny.
That is so funny to me because you, first of all, you're the younger brother. I was the older sister. So I completely remember setting up shows like that and making Liam being like, come on, we're going to do a news show now. Or my thing was school. I used to want to be a teacher. Oh. Yeah. So I would put on my mom's shoes because they would sound like teacher shoes because they were all like wear heels. And so I would just put them on only for the sound, not understanding at all why my feet were so incredibly uncomfortable. And we would sit in the living room and like Liam would sit there, but he would sit there in a pile of all of my stuffed animals. And so, but he would be the voices for all of them. And so I just remember forcing him to do stuff like that with me all the time. How old was he? Oh, that was in the Pittsburgh house. So like, I was in 3rd grade or something. So he must have been like 4 or 5 or something like that. Is that correct, Matt? I don't remember the ages.
Well, like in 1st grade, you come with 6 or not? Like,
yeah, he was in kindergarten. He wasn't even in school, I think, when we were doing that. I lived in Pennsylvania from 1st grade to 6th grade. So that's how old I was there. And he's 6 years younger than me.
Well, I think like does almost every person do it? I don't know. Like, we even did like other videos, like dancing videos. My sister forced me to do this dancing videos, and I was so not in the mood, but she's the big sister, so like I kind of had to do it, or I was just bored, so I was like, okay, what the hell, like I just do it. But then she was doing this what's it called when you make like a dance,
like choreography,
this exactly. And she was doing it, but I didn't care at all, so I was just like doing freestyle, like really bad freestyle. She used to
yell at you, didn't she?
But then she was like, Fabi,
oh my god, I used to do that too.
No, don't do it like this. You have to do it like this. And it's so funny. I pee my pants every time when I see these videos. I have everything, like you can see everything. And I have even videos by myself where I do like personal coaching in fitness and stuff. It was really funny. I was like just like jumping. I was like, okay, so now you warm up. Okay, now you do push-ups. And then I think I had weight, and I was like, okay, now you take the weights. And I said, I can do more, but I don't want to. and I was like, so seriously? And when I saw this, oh my god, that was so funny.
I have one memory in particular when it comes to like my old, because you're right, everybody does do that, especially everybody our age. That's what you did with sleepovers with friends and stuff. I had one friend, her name was Lily, and I have a memory, we were really young. We were like 7th grade, 8th grade. So this is still, it's embarrassing, but it's not like, it's not so bad. We were still young. And we just made a commercial. Or no, it was when iCarly was a thing. Did you have iCarly here?
iCarly.
Okay,
something
by the way.
on like
Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Nickelodeon.
So by the way, I found our transition. I'm going to loop back and use iCarly as our transition in. But I did just want to tell the story because I think it's so funny. We wanted to be iCarly so bad. And I had like brown hair and she had blonde hair. So we were like the perfect fit. And we made like in her room, which was completely pink, like head to toe pink, by the way, which it's not relevant to the story. I just thought it was a fun detail. So now you can really picture what we were working with. We did like a full set where there was, we would dress up and we would act, and then we would play Sims, video gaming in our web show already. We were before our time. And like, it was just so funny. But the funniest part was that Lily made me, it was funny because I was the older sister, so I'm used to being in charge, and now I just kind of like followed around with her idea. It was really, really cool. And she really, really, really wanted to also do the commercials, so we made commercials for our web series that you would watch like our web series and then just see like a Dr. Pepper commercial or something. We would go into the kitchen and just pour Dr. Pepper and film my hand pouring a Dr. Pepper and me going and like that was our web show commercials and all. SNL does that. There's this TV show that like records comedy commercials as a joke, but that's not what we were doing. That's satirical and very funny. Ours is just horribly embarrassing because we just would sip a soda. Anyway, just to loop back to iCarly, did you not have this show growing up, or do you kind of know what I'm talking about? It was so funny.
I think I do know because you showed me something one day, like something not so great about
oh my God,
that stuff.
I didn't show this. Shane Dawson. This was in Shane's conspiracy theory video. That weird thing about the iCarly and the feet, and it's bizarre. People can
feet stuff.
Yeah. People find conspiracy theories in the most ridiculous places these days. It's like so fascinating and so fun to just dive down those holes, but they're just for everything now. Yeah. It was weird. I will also add that it was weird.
I believe so. So, I don't know. But I think they did something like YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
they had. It was like the beginning of that, and it came out at the perfect time. They had a web show. It wasn't on YouTube, but it was essentially a YouTube channel, but not even really, because especially when YouTube started, it was just people sitting in their rooms talking to a camera. There was no real production value to the very beginning of YouTube. But iCarly was full production value. So I love trying to explain this. I haven't seen it in like 6 years, but it was like this girl, her parents didn't live with her. She was raised by her artist. I was going to say artistically inclined. He was an artist. An artist brother. And she had this crazy cool apartment and this really funny best friend. And they transformed their entire attic into a studio and did a weekly web show where it was just the most weird, bizarre things. Like, the entire show was about just being ridiculous, like the most ridiculous thing. This kid, I have a weird memory, like squirted milk out of his eye, which was the grossest thing I've ever seen, but it was just so funny. And their whole stance was like, we just want to do what we want to do, we want to be creative, and this is how I was gonna slip.
But it sounds so cool.
It is really cool, and actually I'm
still going?
No, but I'm so down to watch it with you. We can find the first. It's like old. It's the shows that I watched.
It sounds really interesting.
Yeah,
though, so
no,
I'm open to try it.
It's actually a really well done show. I will say.
It's like really like a kiddie show.
It's for it's like Drake and Josh. You know how I can
still
watch
Drake and Josh is like so cool.
It has the same girl in it. Megan, grown up, the little sister.
Oh yeah,
grown
the
up.
sassy girl.
Yeah,
the mean sassy girl.
Yeah, but she's not mean and sassy. But she's really smart, and like, you never know, maybe it is Megan in disguise. But
by the way, did we already like kind of introduce our podcast?
We
just keep talking, and it's like
we shouldn't introduce it all. So we're podcasting now. This is a thing. It's been a bit of a struggle of a thing to get into it. So we're just gonna go with the flow of it and follow. See, the second I try to start to introduce it, I get all clammy. But we just thought it would be fun. We can talk a little bit in a second about like why we thought it would be fun, and we also have a cool theme for today that we thought we would give a shot. But I did just quickly want to say that this is going to set us up for that in the most seamless way possible, I hope. But the iCarly thing, the whole reason that they started it was because they just wanted to do something that was pure creation, pure entertainment value, exactly what they wanted to see, they wanted to create. And I actually, of the two of us, today in particular, but just in general, I am a little bit more of the antsy one in the partnership. So I was having a little bit of a hard time reining in my energy, calming myself down enough to sit in front of the camera and try this out. And I watched Casey Neistat's Do What You Can't video, which was so inspiring to me and just kind of snapped me out of my weird little mood. And I'm still very nervous though, so please be gentle and kind with us as we do our very best just to get into this new medium. But it was just so inspiring, and I thought it was cool that like iCarly was the kind of content that I was watching growing up and getting inspired by, and it's the same theme. The same thing will inspire me. The same idea of do what you want to do, create something that's cool and special, and that's what this podcast is for us. It's just a spot to kind of put our thoughts that don't really fit anywhere else in our creation, to open up a conversation with you guys, to just join in on this really cool space on the internet, which is the podcasting space, which it's actually, I know I've been talking for like 10 minutes. I have one tiny little thought, but it's just so cool that podcasting is turning into what it's turning into, because before it was a radio show. As far as I understand, it was just a radio show.
Yeah, it was just like audio.
Yeah, but they've
Mostly.
and now it's just turned into such a cool multi-dimensional space, and it's really cool to see the kind of people who are starting podcasts, who are opening themselves up to new ways of thinking, new dialogues. All of this stuff is just really cool, and almost every single person that I look up to right now, if not every single person that I look up to right now, has a podcast, and it's just a spot for them to say spot 16 times, I guess, is what I'm going to use my podcast for.
Very, like, I saw a lot of people who are, like, a little bit older starting the podcast, even, like, Jenna and Julian. They're, like, a little, they're not old, but they're, like 30, kind of, right? 30. Like
They're
around,
in a very
they're
different
like around
life space
30,
than we
and I don't know how old the other ones are. You look like the married couple.
We watch, so the majority of the podcasts that we watch in this house, or that are just playing, are, for the most part, they're older. The people in the podcasts are just in a different spot. They're 30 and up. So we watch Joe Rogan pretty frequently. We watch H3 pretty often. Jenna Julian, the Mile Higher podcast. There are also other podcasts. Cody Ko's podcast, I actually think is very funny. Russell Brand's I was listening to. And there's Marcus Butler I saw. I didn't actually see if he has a full podcast, but the guy that was like making that German video, I watched it yesterday. Things that Germans do. Oh, yeah. Because he's not German either, and it was funny. But he's more our generation, but he's already opening his podcast up when he has reached a certain amount of success where he can speak to things that we can't really speak to because we're not living up where he's living, and we don't have the kind of experiences he's had. But he also has access to tons of different, equipment, and that's not quite where our story is. But I think that because, for both of us, but for me in particular, I get very comparative, and I think that because other people are doing
comparative, this compare yourself,
myself to other people, or what I'm able to do.
But I think this is like this is a problem because you can just see it from the introduction already, because we are so nervous in the beginning, but nervous in general to start the podcast, because we listen to this incredible people talking, especially Joe Rogan, who's like having he only invites people, right? He never had like a podcast by himself or something, I think.
Well, I've never seen anything like that. But
he always invites like really cool people.
But it is always
really
him
cool
and
stuff.
someone new. It's not like Jenna and Julian hosted together and the married couple hosted together. Like everybody that we have seen has.
Well, what I wanted to say is, because maybe it's so hard to start, especially when you watch these people, is that, for example, Joe Rogan now, he can like, he's able to talk everyone about everything so good. He like kind of, I feel like he kind of knows from everything like a little bit, and like enough to talk with everyone like really good about it. And for us then maybe it's like in our subconscious or something, but then it just feels like we have to be like instantly so good with that. It's the same with like just regular YouTube videos or travel videos or something. The level is so high now that to start it, there's like already this anxiety of
you feel
you're
like
not
you're
good
supposed.
enough.
Well,
you know?
you just feel like you're supposed to be as good as all these people are now, even if you're just starting now, and that's just not true.
Yeah, but you're 22 and I'm 23. Like, there's still so much experience coming when you look at the age of from them, like 30 and up, that we watch.
Right.
They have so much experience and like already so much success and experience on YouTube. So it's like something completely different what we are doing now. And once they were here, and it was probably weird for them too, so we can't compare us to them. Exactly.
I mean, I do think that like the age isn't the only thing. So a lot of the people who I look up to are older, but a lot of the people who I look up to are my age or younger. And so I think it's not only about the experience, because there's so many things we have to experience. There's so much growth we're going to have, which is why, no, we can't quite speak the way that Joe Rogan can speak to every topic. You're right. He just knows everything. And he also has an incredibly cultivated blend of humor and intellect that he has grown, like he's nurtured that. He's really taught himself to be this way, and a lot of that is you're born with a sense of who you are, and then you just work on the shit that you want to be better at. And he has had a lot more time to do that, and he's good at being who he is, which is really, really great. And it's something that we don't pat people on the back enough for. Hey, you're like really good at being yourself. But it's also, there's people our age who are doing really cool things, but that's just because they're on a different path, or maybe because they're doing what they're meant to be doing. It doesn't mean you're meant to be doing exactly what they're meant to be doing. And no matter what they're doing, if they're doing it really well now, it didn't just start that way, or it was handed to them. So there are people who just get $100,000 when they walk out of high school because that's just how their family is, and that's handed to them, but they still have to build something out of it, and you still have to learn. You still have to, like, everybody came from somewhere, and social media, as of now, you're seeing the result of a lot of hard work from people, and you think, for whatever reason, because you saw them, the same amount of time has passed from when you were watching them in your bedroom and they were filming in their bedroom, and now they're on MTV and you're still in your bedroom, and you're like, why is this not working out well for me? So it is, for me, it's experience and understanding that there's time for me to grow, and there's also just, I don't have to be other people anymore, and I can give myself the room to grow into who I need to be instead of trying to chase after all of these people, which is why it's cool that we're starting this podcast now, because I do think that there are a lot of people opening themselves into podcasts, more and more people our age, which is great. And we just wanted to join the conversation. We don't want to, like, nothing crazy. We just want to be a part of this awesome movement and this normalization and this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, when you really want something, this craving we all have. Yeah, this craving we all have to just hear people talk, to hear people share ideas.
But it would also be so cool. I'm because I don't really have, like, because I'm in a full-time job and stuff, I don't have so much time to be so much on YouTube. But maybe, you know, if there's like more people like in our age who are, or like YouTubers who have not so many subscribers or something, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like little creators, small creators, not little creators.
No,
smaller creators, like smaller creators like you, who are starting or who want to start, that you can like start podcasts with them too, you know, that you're on the same level. Because I don't know, I think it would be weird if we would, for example, start a podcast now with Joe Rogan or something, you know.
No.
And we would just sit there and be like, okay.
Yeah.
So
well, I was actually,
like,
it's funny that you say that, and we are gonna have to pause in a minute because we only have the ability to record 25 minutes at a time, and we're pushing that. So we'll just run over and switch the camera back on. But what I wanted to say is that I actually was thinking about this earlier, that we're coming up now on like a new generation of it's not a struggle, but like we loved, when we first logged onto YouTube, we wanted to watch people be themselves. We wanted to just watch them turn their ideas into business. We wanted to see that. We wanted to watch the growth, see them go from like their room to MTV. That was I'm gonna spill my coffee everywhere before this is done. That was the fun part of that, was like watching the journey, being a part of their growth, seeing them tackle things and make really great stuff come out of really weird situations sometimes. That was really awesome. And now what we're seeing is a lot of those people are now just super successful, which is so cool and still for me so interesting. But I do feel like people are going to slowly almost want to see people in their bedrooms again and want to start watching that go up again, because you just have like waves of it. It's just going to keep happening. And I feel like people really do appreciate still the humility, the groundedness, the just, hey, this is my life, but it's like you can relate your life to it. Now people are buying all these crazy cars and just living this lifestyle that they have earned, that they deserve, that is to be respected, to be totally honest, but is also much harder to relate to. And I think that that relation that we got from these creators was so cool. And I also just want to say that I'm just really proud of us for doing this. I know it's like not the easiest thing for either of us, but it's the coolest time. And if you want to start literally we're in our living room and we just pushed all of our like furniture around. We're recording on a really, I don't even know what to call this microphone. It's called a snowball. Yeah, it's a snowball. And it's just the most ratchet, struggled, like compilation of what we can turn a podcast into from our living room. And it's so cool though still, and I love that. I want to see more of that. And you're right, like connecting with other smaller creators of this genre would be super cool. So yeah, I'm just excited to be doing it. I'm so nervous, but it is like easier every couple seconds, gets more calm. And I just feel like you're reminding yourself as a creator, because this is so different from what you do, from what I do at least when I sit down to film a regular video. You're reminding yourself of the humanity, I feel like, or I'm reminding myself of the humanity when you sit down and you just have a conversation. I'm also so aware of how fast I talk now because I can just feel my mouth going a mile
I have
a
to
minute.
say, I feel really comfortable. I thought that I will be more like, ooh, there's a camera or something, but I really worked on my mindset to just focus on you, like it's us. There's like, we didn't have the interaction with the people. Do you want to like, I think it will stop and like hello back.
Yeah, you can just keep going.
Yeah, so oh my god, that was 2 seconds. I now already forgot. No, it's, I just feel so comfortable because I worked on my mindset a lot to just focus on us, like that it's just us, and like we're recording the moment, the memory and stuff. And yes, for the podcast it's like harder when, like, as someone who creates only like the regular videos where you have the editing so much. For me, it really doesn't matter because
you would be the same either way.
Yeah, I would be the same either way because I've never done anything like this. Like, I'm completely from somewhere else, like from a completely different planet.
Welder.
Yeah. What?
A welder.
A welder, yeah, a welder. I'm a welder, so yeah, I can do weld videos if you want. No, I cannot. But I don't know, it just feels so cool. And to go back for 1 second to the Casey Neistat video, the one video, do what you can't. And this is exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I can. Because, not only because, yeah, sometimes I thought, and this is so funny, we saw it 2 days ago or something, the video, I recorded a video like on the first weeks we've met, and we were on one island.
Oh my
and
god,
I forgot
yes.
on which island. But we were going with the scooter, like adventuring, and then I saw a sign for a waterfall, and I was like, okay, let's just go to the waterfall.
The sign was pointing in the opposite direction that a local told us the waterfall was. That is a detail. There was the local goes, the waterfall is this way. Then there's a sign, and it says the waterfall is this way. This is the sign that Fabi saw, and this is the waterfall he so very desperately wanted to go to.
Yeah, and it was going up, so I was like, okay, it will come. And I was like, okay, let's just go. We adventure, and it was boiling hot. It was like lunchtime, where the sun is the highest, and we were hiking with no shade, nothing. It wasn't like it was super foresty or something. It looked like construction work everywhere.
It looked
like
also
so weird.
like private property.
Yeah, and we were just kept walking and walking because I said, let's just keep walking. It will come. We don't give up. And I was at least like showered with sweat, like completely wet. Too. And I remember we came to this corner, and then there were the dogs, and we thought the dogs were chasing us.
Because they were. There was no gate, and there was like a little pack of dogs, and they looked like they were well groomed, and that they were there to make sure that you weren't there, and they were so loud. And that actually happened after, though. We passed the dogs on our way out, and we like booked it after that. Yeah. But the funny thing that you're remembering is we were walking down the hill, and Fabi is filming.
The GoPro.
And he's like vlogging, and at the end he goes,
because I was making fun. I think you just told me like a couple days
that
ago
I was doing it.
That you were like a YouTuber and stuff, and I just know it from like watching it. So I was like, ooh yeah, on YouTube and stuff, funny, haha. And you were like, yeah, maybe we do one day a video. And I was like holding a camera, and I was like just talking, and I was saying, yeah, hello guys, welcome back to Fabi, blah blah blah, and then I like put the camera down, and then you hear like in the background, never. And we were laughing so hard.
It was so funny because when I first met him, it was really cool. He had such a respect for what YouTube was and for the content. He watched YouTubers. He really, really liked it, thought it was very cool. But he was so convinced that he could not and did not want to do it. So you were just like, no, I am not the person for this. This is what you used to say. Yeah, I am not the person for this. And
I'm not the person for this. I said it like this because so many people, I think I thought one day of doing kind of something like this, but people told me you can't.
Oh my god, that's right.
You cannot do this. Like
somebody in particular told you that too. Yeah, like you are not the person.
You're not the person for that. Yeah. You don't have the voice for that. You're just not the type for doing videos or something. Which is so funny because the second I met him, I got the complete opposite. I was like, you're made for this. The stuff he says, Fabi is the funniest human being I've ever met in my entire life. And he is so smart he's just like the problem for me was always, and I actually talk with my I don't even know the word. Sometimes my English is not perfect, so
we all get to enjoy his very sexy German accent, but we have to put up with it sometimes. So if he fumbles
you work with someone together in the company. Colleague. Okay, I was talking with my colleague about it.
From coffee. Sorry, continue.
But we were talking about like our personalities because his personality is exactly like mine. Mm-hmm. Like we're a little bit more like crazy, goofy, making fun a lot and stuff. But the thing is, with my personality, people don't get to know that unless they really, really know me. You know, I open up pretty late. If I know someone when I just met someone, then I'm not I'm not myself all the way.
No.
What's like a little bit sad, but I was always a little bit more shy. and it took me a little bit longer to open up.
Yeah.
Maybe because of like I want to trust this person first or something. I see if
you
it's
want to see
really
what their
like a
energy
friend,
is really
and
like.
like if they appreciate my true self. You know, it's like a shield almost that I put on first. And once I know this could be really a friend, then I open up and like, here's my true self.
Yeah.
Here, look, I'm even more amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I was just talking with him about that, and I think this was the problem for me always, because I thought then it's so hard for me to open up to the camera and be this person, and I still think it needs a little bit time to like completely open up to that stuff, because I'm completely new in this stuff, and I always thought that I'm not the type for this only because of one reason, and this one reason is my voice, because I think always that my voice sounds so emotionless,
which by the way is, first of all, can I just say what you were saying before? That's so sweet, because that's really how you are, and I completely get that. And he's been telling me that he was so aware of his monotone voice, which he doesn't have when we talk alone, because you actually have so much feeling.
I think it's
in your
also
voice.
better with English than with German, I feel.
But I was going to say, I think it's because of German, because German is one of those sing-songy ones. Like sometimes I'm learning, I'm not very well apparently, because I can't explain what I'm trying to say, but it's a very monotone language in some ways, and it also has like melodic tones to it. Like my teacher will tell me that I have to say it in this way, and so I wonder, because English isn't quite like that. You can sit there and just speak English really monotone, and it functions just the same. And with German, I wonder if because you don't have like a way you're supposed to say it, that it's easier for you to fall into that. But I just think like part of it's you have an accent, and
I don't know. I think it comes even more far, like just how we see everything. Like people are asleep, and like the way you like taught in school and stuff, and like maybe in like from your parents and stuff. And this goes so far, and we can maybe do like a completely different podcast for that, because it goes so far.
It really does.
We talk like it's so nice because we just flow into that and we talk so much.
But you know what I love is like what you said a second ago, was that we just have this memory for us. And literally since you said that, and I can be aware of the camera and aware that there are people watching, and even for me more especially aware that the people who are watching are most likely my subscribers. Because for those of you who don't know who I am, I have a really small YouTube channel that I love with all of my heart. And my guess is that if anyone besides my mother is watching this podcast, it's people from that channel, which is special to me. And I think that the second you said, this is just a memory for us to record, this is just how we talk all the time, only we usually are like much more hyper. And I'm sure we'll get into that at some point when we're just like more relaxed and calm. But since you said that, I've just been slowly just sinking into the moment, because I am so comfortable speaking to you, and I am so comfortable speaking to my subscribers and anybody else who wants to come and hang out in our little podcast friend group.
Well, it always like I think becomes more easy when you build a community, and like you really interact with them, and then you really feel like you talk to friends, because they become friends, family even, like.
But I feel like it's also, there's going to be an element, and I think this is something I can personally learn from the podcasting process. And after this thought, we can slowly transition to what we wanted to speak to today. But I'm going to learn, because at the beginning of this podcast, I was so nervous, and I heard myself talking so fast and like not explaining a thought enough. And then when you said the thing about how this is a memory, I calmed down, and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. This is fun. I can do this. It's just my subscribers and my friends and my boyfriend. Like, how is this hard? And I started to calm down, and then I was like, oh my God, but I was talking so fast and in such a bad mood. I can't like just be in a good mood now. I don't know how to explain it. And it's just like, you learn to just move on, let go, ride the conversation. It's just a really good conversational skill building skill.
But I'm pretty sure that like after we uploaded our 10th podcast.
Yeah.
We can look at our first podcast
and see so
and
much
our
growth.
10th, and you can already see the difference in like.
But do you know what's crazy?
The confident in like filming and talking about stuff.
Do you know what's just crazy to me is I feel like for the first 10 minutes, like the first half hour, I'll be able to watch such a difference. And that, like, it just feels so different to me already. It's just cool. It speaks to how connective the internet can be and how powerful your mindset can be and just what this format does for your own sense of self and for your sense of community. It's really, really cool. And we're really excited about it. And I know that the beginning of this podcast has been a little bit flustery. And, you know, to be fair, the first couple podcasts are going to be flustery. And before you want to judge us, I recommend you give it a shot. And then you can feel free to judge us. I don't mind if you judge us as long as you embrace our growth as much as we try to embrace our growth.
Well,
wait, can I tell you one thing? Go ahead, you can say your thought. And I just wanted to, I wrote something really cute.
I just wanted to say there will people coming and there will people going, and those ones who like us and who want to stay, they will stay, and these are the people we want to talk to. Like,
Exactly.
if someone doesn't like us, they just go and then look for someone else, and that's fine. Like, there are so many people on YouTube in this world.
People
you
will
can
find
talk
people,
to, like,
people
there's
will find
always
people they
like,
like.
yeah.
We understand if you don't like our podcast. We completely will get it, but there's other people that you can go watch.
Just come by next time.
Yeah, come
for the next podcast.
come later
and then
on.
If you don't like it, maybe the 10th podcast.
But the truth is that there's nothing to be afraid of, really, because everybody's making content that somebody will like. Like, if you don't like our podcast, that's okay. I understand.
But we have a comfy couch and we can just roll around.
And
we don't sit in
Exactly.
chairs, and it's just comfortable.
I can also say that I will in a second defend why our setup is kind of the way it is. It isn't just by accident. We wanted to keep the technology as compact as possible because our dream for this podcast is to take it on the road with us as we travel, which is going to be the most fun.
Yeah.
The most fun bit is to like be having a podcast, like you said, just to circle back, coming from memories, like when we're in hotel rooms, when we just had a crazy adventure and we want to hop on here and tell a story, when we're stuck at an airport late at night. Like, how funny would it have been if we were podcasting that night in the Singapore airport? Like, just stuff like that. I can't wait for us to get there, and I appreciate those of you who are willing to let us fumble around with this for a bit. That this is part of it, and we have to
get really, really, really cool.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't mind this part of it. I don't mind the part that's not perfect. And I just wanted to say that I had such a cute little note that I wrote down because before we started filming this, Fabi came out of the bathroom and I was listening to this like really loud yelling on my laptop, and he gave me the weirdest look, and I was like, I'll explain it later. It's a cute story. And I was watching the behind the scenes of a really incredible film, like a short film. It was a music video, I think, actually. I will leave the links in the description box. I forget what it's called. But it was just this dance instructor yelling at the dancers to like do it properly. And the film had this really cool message to me, and I think the film was done in a way that each person could take their own message from it. But for me, it was just that standing out is either something that you let yourself be held like afraid of, or that you chase and you follow that feeling. And it was just this really cute thing that I thought to write down, which was, insecurities are just things that make you different that you haven't learned to embrace yet. And so I think once I started letting go of the fact that we don't have all the technology, we don't have this, we're starting in our on the floor of our living room. When I let go of that as a bad thing and turn that into a good thing, and like you can grow with us through this, which is really exciting. And the fact that we want to take it everywhere and have it be something really new, and that's what's so exciting to me about all of this. And that in particular, the thing that I was watching can lead us into what we wanted to talk about today. Do you want to explain it? You can. I feel like I've been talking for a year.
Sure, I can explain it. So
Sorry.
What we actually want to talk about tonight.
We did plan something.
Yeah, we planned something, and the introduction is now like
an hour.
Like what, 35 minutes?
Something
like this. 35 minutes or 40 minutes. It will be a long podcast, but we were worrying
that it was going to be too short,
that it will be too short. But now we will have like in 1.5 or 2 hour podcast. And I think even a 2 hour podcast
it's
for
fine.
the beginning is fine, because at the beginning you talk a lot. Although we don't really introduce ourselves. So my name is Fabi.
Okay.
I have a full-time job as construction mechanic. I don't know if you say that like this.
You say welder.
I build kitchens.
Really
from
cool kitchens.
Stainless steel, and we have some really cool projects going on. So this is really exciting too, and this is so exciting too. And I don't know. I think we're just like, I feel like we're on this journey. That the journey to awake. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
The journey of awakening.
We have really put a lot of energy towards our spiritual growth over the last bit. I think partly it's because we've just been in a tumble dryer, it's felt like, over the last year, and we're very ready to pull ourselves out of it. And we have focused so much of our energy on that. And we're on this journey of awakening, which is really cool to think of it that way.
We had a rough...
My name's Haley, by the way.
Hello, Haley.
I have a very small YouTube channel, which, like, I think I said this already, I love so much. It's my dream, and it is my entire goal to grow it into something that is special and helps people and makes people feel wanted and welcome, and also helps me heal myself in some ways, lets me express things that I have had trouble expressing, and just something to give me more confidence, and something that allows me to give confidence to other people. My videos are really goofy and kind of weird, but I am also we're both, I wanted to say, you do have a full-time job. I also am in a full-time German class.
She started a school, but she speaks very, very well German already for how long?
Like 2
Maybe in
months.
like 2 months or 3 months, like 2 or 3 months, I think. And we were just like a couple of days ago at my parents', and full evening, I think we were there for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And the full of 4 or 5 hours, she talked in German.
Like
sometimes she asked me for a word or something, but she talked the whole time German. And this is really, 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 really
that was a really good night, actually.
Incredible, impressive.
Oh, sure,
impressive.
that too.
Impressive. It was really impressive to see like how fast you learned it, and I don't know. It's really cool. It's really cool, but it takes a lot of time and energy for you, because
the teachers of the class are not particularly.
It's only 3 hours, I think. 3 or 4.
It's 3 hours of learning, but it's 4-hour class. You have a half-hour break in the middle, and it takes me an hour each way
to come there and then to come back. And you don't drive with the car; you drive with the train.
And
it's great for the environment. But you also have to walk to the train station, walk from the train station to the school, and then
it's a long walk.
And
But I have to say that the morning time is the time I listen to my podcasts. But it is just we're in a spot where we both have these things that we have to do, because I'm in the German class because of my own fault. I am good at a lot of things. Navigating international visas is not one of them. So I'm in the class for reasons that I need to be in it. And I do my time. I go and I learn my stuff. So, but we also are both, we really have this like desire to create things and to learn things and to go on a human experience with other humans. And I just love that we've both we've dove headfirst into filmmaking and into teaching ourselves about filmmaking and into photography and into audio, whatever. Like it's all so cool, and it is like our passion. And I think the fact that we're even sitting down and doing this is us saying, like, just brushing off that fear that we've had of like, well, you have to focus on your day job, you have to focus on this. Like, you can do both. You can in a smart way start to build up your ability. Because in Casey's video that he was the Do What You Can't one, he said even like, if you do it well enough, then you can quit your day job. But like, you gotta start from the beginning, and everybody else started from the beginning too. Like, not everybody quit their job like out of the gate.
I know. Like,
no.
How can you?
How can you?
It's not like that YouTube will say like, oh, give me your resume, and
if
you're doing great, then you're in it, and
it's
you will
not
get
like
2,000 euro a month.
It is
Fine.
not like that, but I swear that's what everybody thinks it's like. That's how everybody feels it's like. Like, you feel like if you make a video that's as good as somebody else's video, that it's supposed to do exactly as good as that person's video. It's crazy. You have to be patient. You have to work through that. But that is
it's like,
that is really almost what the feeling is.
We watched Casey's video, and he said it was so hard to get to this 10 millions he has right now, right? It was so hard to get to this 10 million, but it was even harder to get to 1 million, but it was even harder to get to 100,000, and like down. And he said the hardest part was to get to 10,000 subscribers. And
hold on 1 second.
What? It was my phone, I think.
No, I hear. Do you not hear
That's the heater under the sink.
Oh.
And sorry. Like you made it already to 17,000 subscribers, and you had like a long break because of reasons. Your closest subscribers now, because of what reasons you had your break, and we don't have to go in that anymore. Here for tonight, we can talk about, this is like a whole theme by itself, but our plan for tonight is to talk about 5 people each, what we want to, and we wrote down 8 people each
in case we overlapped. So basically, we had started having a conversation that just became more and more interesting the more we had it, which was this hypothetical of, if you could invite whoever to dinner, who would you invite to dinner? Not just one person, but like building up a table of people you would love to share thoughts and ideas with. And we started this conversation randomly. I don't even remember when, but like a long time ago. And it was just so interesting. And it was when we had first kind of created the idea of starting up a podcast, where we were like, oh, this would actually be such an interesting thought. And it's funny because we had this idea so long ago, and we've each been keeping our lists. And I swear I've literally crossed out people from mine and added new people, and just like watch that
I just
grow.
did it today before we even started.
Me too. I changed someone too.
I changed 2 people because it's just so hard. Even like 8 people are not enough, because in this last year we had like, we watched so many new people, and we were so inspired by new people, and we learned so much from other people, and then there was like a new person coming, and that was even more incredible. So like the list is like constantly changing. Like it could change even like by tomorrow again, you know. But I do think it's such a cool way to get to know someone, to kind of hear about who they look up to and who they're inspired by and what kind of energy they're attracted to. And not to sound super kooky, but like that kind of thing. What kind of creative thought do you align yourself with? What kind of stuff do you think about? What kind of opinions do you hold about other people? Just, I think it's a cool way to get to know someone, is to hear who they admire and why they admire those people. Because I just I just feel like it's a really good test of character. And I did just want to add before we continue, which we really will start now. I know we've said that a couple times, but I want to just say that I think that the format is going to have to be, for this podcast, to have a break at some point, like a kind of a commercial break. A pee
break for us, but like kind of how H3 has those commercial breaks. I think Joe Rogan does sometimes as well, but ours will not be commercial. Ours will just, we'll find like a funny little video for you to watch for a second, or we can just cut it because it doesn't actually have to, it's not real time, Haley. Wow. But my thing is, we have to charge the camera. The camera's gonna die. Not now. We have probably one more round, and then we can charge, take a break, come back with much worse lighting after the sun has gone completely down. But we've both have some people we want to run through and just talk about why we like them, and just open up conversations about people. I hope you guys are excited about this conversation, because we're really excited about this conversation.
Yeah, we're finally starting now.
Oh my god.
So, be excited. Should I just jump in, or do you want to start? I don't really care. I just want to.
You can go first. How about you go first? I feel like I have to breathe. My god.
All right. So the first person I wrote down was, I think, the first person I watched on YouTube.
Was he really?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure because it was so long ago that I think YouTube was first for me, just like funny videos.
Was it still the music video YouTube?
Yeah,
like,
just like music videos and like funny videos were on it.
Yeah.
But like the first actual influencer was, his name is Misha Yanets, and he's a fitness YouTuber, and I found him when I started with the gym. I'm not in it anymore for a long while because...
Do you want to talk about that for a second?
About the gym?
Well, just I don't think people completely understand that the gym used to be a really big part of Hubby's life. You were borderline bodybuilding for a bit there.
Yeah, I was like bodybuilding for like aesthetic bodies.
Also just very health conscious.
But yeah, health conscious. I was like really getting into it, and I always just had the dream to get like the best out of my body. You know, that was always my dream, to like reach the maximum, if there even is like a maximum. You know, yeah. And this was always my dream, and I was so into it. And what is funny, I didn't like him at all in the beginning. He was like, he had weird energy, and he did a lot of mistakes. And when you watch his videos now, he like even had a video where they talk about like when he was younger, he did a lot of mistakes. He got a lot of hate also, but there you can see then like someone who like a lot of people maybe didn't like turned into liking them, liking him.
He changed people's minds.
Yeah, because he changed, and this is why this person Misha is like a big part of my change too, because when he started to change, I saw this, because sometimes I just watch this video because I got value out of it, because he did fitness in a really good way that I really like saw myself when I did it. Like I saw progress, so it helped me a lot, and I took value out of it, and I didn't care if I liked this person or not. So I for me it was just like I was just caring about the value, if I have value or not.
What you get out of it?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And I saw his change from this like person who I don't like, who had like kind of weird energy, to this person who got, first of all, really spiritual. He turned vegan. He turned like into someone who really like became a person who takes really care of his mind and his body and the environment and all the people around him, like, and he became more and more and more to someone who I look really up to. And every time more and more someone I can relate to. And with him I changed too. Like I took a lot of stuff from him and I tried it for myself, and I saw it's really good. And the bodybuilding or like just the gym is like on the side for right now for me, but I'm already like tomorrow I start the gym, and I already like thought of like a comeback. Like I want to be a little bit better than just before, being, like,
you know, able to document your process, because it's cool for anybody who is maybe interested in going on a little bit of a fitness journey, because you can show that I know how to do this. I've done it once before.
Yeah,
now
I have some couple pictures from before how I looked like,
so and can watch
I had like 20 kilos more on my body, so
which is like, a lot more than that in pounds.
Not like straight, but I will come to this. I'm sure. I'm positive because I did it before, and I'm sure there's still some muscle memory effect. Not so much because I didn't do almost anything in 8 months. But this is like my first person that I really want to invite to, because I think I can talk with him like constantly. I think when I would meet him, I could just talk with him hours and hours about the gym, about spirituality, about the mindset, about vegan stuff.
Do you know what's interesting?
Yeah,
I have a question because I wasn't supposed to, but I did just like peek at your list really quick. I didn't.
Hello?
I wasn't.
Hello, Nolly. Are you Nolly?
I was curious if we had any overlapping, but what I did see is he is the only German on your list. Is he not?
He's not German.
Is he not?
No, he's not German.
He speaks German. His videos are in German.
Yeah, he speaks German and most like I think because he stopped his English videos, but he started I think with English speaking videos. And he has an English.
Wait, what?
Speaking...
You just said he stopped his English videos, but he started with English speaking videos?
He started when he started YouTube. He started with English speaking.
Oh, he started with English speaking, and now he does only German.
Yeah, because he didn't do anything on this one platform for like 2 months, I think. So he's just focusing, I think, on the German platform.
But he's not from Germany?
He's not from Germany. He's from Switzerland. But I don't know if he's born in Switzerland, but his parents, his family comes from Poland. But I think he lived his whole life in Switzerland. He speaks Schweizerdeutsch and German and English and Spanish even. So
okay, so I guess then my question doesn't really matter. I was just wondering if I thought he was German, so I thought that was maybe something you were connecting with him on.
No.
Because I just thought
it was just like the gym from the beginning on. And then
the gym connected you guys, and then you were really inspired by his personal journey as well.
You kind of were the first person who showed me like the spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
And as you showed me that, and I was like slowly getting into it, he kind of started too, and I saw it in his change too to something better. So I saw like, oh my god, there's something so great, and like we kind of changed together. Like I didn't change like so much, but I think it's like a lot from like
you've changed like so much.
1.5 year.
Yeah. Not that he had to change. He's always been perfect. But you really have done a lot
opened
for
up
yourself. Yeah,
so much
really
more, and like I'm open to everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm open to everything.
You really are. That is like one of the baselines of your character now is that you're just genuinely and truly open to all people, and you know
and I don't judge at all anymore. I was like judging a lot, I think, just from like the outside already, how people look from the outside. If like people do mistakes, I got really angry with people because I always want to have like everything perfect organized, like German structure.
Yeah, it's just kind of was instilled in you though, that thought, and I have seen in him such a change in that, in like I just think it's really cool, and I think it's so cool that you've found someone whose journey you were able to follow. And I, as somebody who has only seen snippets of his videos, I can attest to the very clear change that he's made. And it's just cool to see that you have a little bro. It's also really, they look exactly the same. Like when you guys were the same size, you looked related.
I'm taller than him.
Yeah.
So one day, Misha, I will stand right next to you, and I will look bigger than you because I am even taller than you. Oh no, the camera is
gonna die. So we're gonna go for our break. We're gonna have a coffee.
We did one person so far.
Yeah, wow, good for us. We're gonna have a coffee, and we'll be back. It'll be dark when we're back, so forgive us for that in advance. But we're having a good time. I hope you guys are too, and we'll see you in a sec. It looks really dark, but I can't tell if it looks like cool dark. Okay, we're at an impasse. I have this weird artistic feeling that if we leave the lighting off, it'll look really cool because the sun's going down and the sunset is spectacular, and the LED lights like change in synchronicity with the I just think it could look so cool. But now it like looks really dark and kind of weird, and I know that the lighting is what was saving my haphazard makeup application.
This is on already.
Yeah. What do you think? I kind of think it's cool. We could always just give it a shot, and then you guys could pick what you appreciate more, if you like the super lit up bit, or if you like, I just feel like it's so cozy. Like this is just this is how we would have the lights if we were just hanging out in our living room. Although maybe that could go on, but it doesn't have room to plug in, does it?
No.
We're still very fully in the 18 different extension cords set up on the floor of our living room.
Because there are only 3 outlets each.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Instead of taking one that has 10 or something.
But yeah, we also had to go and drive to Fabi's parents' house, which is very luckily just 2 minutes around the corner, and get the battery from his dad to try to swap it through. It didn't even fit.
Not at all.
No, I don't know why I had a memory that it did, but so yeah, that's I love that. I love that this is how we start. Like, I can't wait till we're someday doing the podcast somewhere so fancy and awesome, and we'll be like, oh, do you remember when we had our tea and sat on a mattress in our living room at a coffee table with not enough outlets for the lights and no battery for the camera?
Well, we probably have to bring an outlet to when we film in a hotel room or something.
That's true.
And like outside it will be even like more
Oh my god, the audio's not even on. That was my job. I apologize profusely.
Well, can you use now the audio there?
Yeah, to switch it. Like, I can gap it together. But the audio was just bad for a second, and it's because I forgot to press the button. And I have gum. That's so rude.
That's
Hold on.
so unprofessional.
I'm
Hello.
so sorry.
God.
It's in the lid of my water bottle now, so my professionality is...
For later. You keep it for later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ew. Oh.
Well, it's your turn.
Oh my god, I have a story about Liam. Liam one time literally came home from school and told me a story about how he found gum underneath his table, and it was like really good. And I remember thinking it was the grossest thing. And I was babysitting him at the time.
What?
Liam was my brother, by the way. He ate gum when he was really little.
In school.
Yeah, from like the bottom of the table. And he I made him brush his teeth for an hour. Not really, but oh god.
That's really gross.
He was just so sweet. He's like, yeah, it was the best day. There was just
I found
gum.
it chewing
Yeah.
on. Oh my god, the universe is
so kind.
Kind, yeah, I'm so grateful.
Oh my god, I wonder if he'll hate me for telling that story. That's not even the most embarrassing story I've told about him on my channel. So he gave me permission to tell the one story. Just to say, this is like gonna interest 2 of you, I'm sure, if that. I've mentioned that my brother had like a really cool, weird paranormal experience growing up, and he gave me permission to tell his full story on my channel.
Oh, but
so
you make like a full...
yeah,
like,
I'm gonna make a full video about it because my mom said she has footage of that time.
Ooh, live footage.
Yeah, but it's really old, and I don't know if she'll be able to dig it up. So
that would be really cool.
I know, it would be crazy to see that. So, but that story will come, and I don't know how we got onto that subject. But we're back now. We're back from our break. It's so much darker, but my boat is that it looks cooler. It is my turn. I did just want to inform you guys that while we were on our break, Fabi ripped his shirt and had a really loving conversation with his father about apples, and combined Jake Paul and Logan Paul into Rogan.
Rogan or Jogan?
Jogan
I
Paul.
said
I'm sorry. Yeah, he said Jogan, and then I said, well, it could also be Joe Rogan. Now you have to differentiate
Joe Rogan
again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, this is the break that we've had. My stomach hurts so badly now.
Really?
Yeah. What was my
Should I give you a magic touch? Like magic hands?
Yes, please. Thank you.
The stage is yours.
Sweet. Okay. So, it's my first person.
Yeah, your first person.
All right. So, my first person, it's actually a new person.
Is it the same?
As before?
As mine?
No.
No, is it not Misha?
No. But I also, this person is new to my list. I added him today. And I added him today because of yesterday. So I know you know who it is. So, my first invitation would go out to Jay Shetty. Is it an invitation? Do we have to assume that these people have to respond and say, yeah, sure, we'll come to your dinner full of people that you want to talk to? Or is this like, they have to show up? So, this is my first, they have to show up.
It's like an...
requirement. A summons.
Yeah,
it's a summons.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh. So if you guys see that,
You gotta come.
You gotta come.
Okay, so my first person is Jay Shetty. Now, he's somebody who I had seen his face popping up on like all of these motivational little clips that scroll through my feed on YouTube as like recommended, and I had seen his face, but I had never actually heard him speak. So we watch a series. We're actually very invested in the series called Leaders Create Leaders. I think it's one of the coolest little pockets on the internet for leadership conversation. It's for sure not the only place, but it's just a place that is structured in a way that we really that really resonates with us. And it's a series, basically. His name is Gerard Adams, correct? The guy who the host? Gerard something.
Yeah, Gerard.
I believe it's Gerard Adams. I'll scribble it on the screen if I'm incorrect. He just has such a vision for what he wants his community to be, and he opens up conversations and gives people platforms to speak about their experience who have had very successful paths, who have lots to say about entrepreneurship, about leadership, about spirituality, about just everything. And we, like, Alexis Ren was on one that was really interesting. Chris Stoikos, just a lot of very, very smart, incredibly creative, incredibly talented people. I'm forgetting a lot of names, obviously. But this was the first episode of season 4. We had been excited about it for a while. And Jay Shetty was the guest. And he was described as a millennial monk, which I found really interesting just off the bat. The conversation was so incredible. Like, I felt privileged to have watched it, to have been a part of that. It was
incredible.
It was really, really good. And I actually have like I have a couple little notes that I jotted down about what I thought about it. Well, so Jay Shetty, for those of you who don't know, he's described as a millennial monk because he literally was. I don't know how old he is now. He's a younger gentleman. He's definitely not. Is he over 30? I don't know. He's very young.
Well, I think he's like at the end of 20s or something.
Something like this. And he was a monk for 3 years in India, I believe, is where he was a monk. I think
he's from India, right?
You know, I don't know. I think he was. No. I think he's of Indian heritage, I believe. Yeah. But I think he grew up in the UK, so he came from the Western world. I think. I'm not super sure. He went and was a monk for 3 years, and he spoke about his experience with that, and it was just incredible. He has such a connection to his energy and to himself, and he speaks about it a lot. He speaks about removing ego and just being the best possible version of yourself that you can be, which is a platitude in a lot of ways, but the way he speaks about it just was so inspiring. And he has such he's elevated. That's what I wrote down, is that he's very elevated. He seems to be able to connect to himself and to his ideas on a level above what I personally can do for myself right now. And I think that we've talked about this in the past, that it's really important to try to challenge yourself with the people you surround yourself with. So finding people who are better than you, and it's not the hardest thing in the world for me, to be totally honest, but it's just really cool when you find someone who you just want to learn so much from. And I think that he is a leader, clearly, to me, in this genre of the millennial philosopher, the millennial, this way of thinking about philosophical ideas through a tech-savvy, culturally literate, very in the now kind of person, melding these two schools of thought together. It's just really difficult to do, period, but it's even more difficult to do with the level of expertise he seems to be able to do it with. He has such a clear vision about education, and when he was talking about what's been missing from all of our educations growing up, it hit me so much. Like, I really don't want our children to have that missing from their education. And he just speaks in a way that makes you feel you just stop blaming yourself for a lot of things, but you also begin to hold yourself responsible and believe in the change. He just has this really cool, inspiring energy. I've never come across a speaker who has made me so genuinely inspired and to believe in myself.
He explained it. he explained everything so well.
Yeah.
So you can understand it. I like personally like wanted to look over it one more time because like sometimes I don't get like things when it goes so fast. But he explained it so good that like you can imagine it so perfectly that you have this vision in your head and you're like, oh my god, I get this. Like,
yeah, he does. He speaks with like incredible eloquence, but in a very understandable, digestible, you get the picture way. And he also just had such, he just knew he knew himself. And he also, I have to say, he embodies a lot of the beliefs that I hold. And it's almost weird because I don't consider either of us to be particularly religious, but I consider the both of us to be very spiritual. And I feel like no matter how religious you are in whatever religion, you can relate to that sense of spirituality. And I think we do always try to draw lines in the sand and say, well, I'm spiritual this way and you're spiritual this way. And there's this book and this meaning and whatever. And I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, but I am saying that we all, if you're spiritual in any way, there is that that connection that we can all relate to. And for me, he embodies what I believe in a lot of ways, what you believe as well. We were very connected to some literature about like the spiritual laws of success, all that stuff, but it's stuff that I really believe in. And seeing him sit there and have his whole being be about communicating these ideas, because he's not, from what I understand, and I didn't actually, to be fair, I haven't dived in. Haven't dove. I believe that's correct grammar. Wow, dove in. Yeah, I haven't done a deep dive into him. I don't know maybe quite as much as I should, but I have a good idea. And from what I understand, his whole thing is just speaking about this stuff. His whole thing is making wisdom go viral. He's not your typical influencer. He's not, I'm not sure exactly what his personal motives and intentions are. Like, I don't know if he has a merch brand. I don't know if he does this or does whatever. But what you can tell is that his intentions, and you get this from what he says, his intentions are to serve and to give to other people in whatever way he can come up with, and to connect with himself through that process of giving, and to share and to be, and I just love that, and I thought it was really cool, and it was just pure inspiration on a spiritual and on an intellectual level.
Yeah, he just basically said that you're in one line with the universe.
This is what I meant. Sorry, yeah. Alignment in the universe.
Yeah, because when you look at the universe, the universe just gives. The air that you breathe.
The shade from a tree.
The shade from a tree.
Like, I feel like it makes it sound so hippie, like the shade from a tree. But if you really think about it, like a tree gives you shade and it doesn't ask you for money first.
Yeah, but even what they say, like you breathe every day, but like we even like put air in bottles and sell them. Like,
there's oxygen bottles in LA
oxygen bottles, and I don't know, it's crazy. Like the sun that like gives us the energy, that gives us the vitamins, that grows our plants, and the earth that gives us the ability to grow something, and does in like a really spiritual way, that doesn't take anything from you. It just gives you, and when you just start to give, then you're in one line with the universe.
Alignment, you're in alignment with the universe.
You flow with that, and like,
as long as you're moving in the direction towards giving and bettering yourself, so that the energy you give is even better, like that is moving in alignment with the universe. And from what he speaks to, what?
We are out of focus.
Why? That's really weird.
Maybe it's too dark.
That's actually potentially that actually could be it. Should I turn on a little bit of something?
Yeah, I think
it's getting a little bit too dark now that the sunset's passed. So you can just have it on the lowest setting, which is still so bright. See, I think I was right. I think sunset time, but with Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell which one's better. You guys can tell us below. But what I wanted to say is that this is all, by the way, according to kind of what Jay speaks to, but also to what we subscribe to, which is in no way me telling you how to believe or you what to think or whatever. It's just genuinely me sharing this experience. And the reason why I'm sharing this experience is twofold. One, I think it's really cool that Jay is also an example of the fact I was raised like not religious at all. But by scientists. And I was like, my mom is literally like straight off the cast of Big Bang Theory. So in the most loving way possible.
But she is also very spiritual.
Yeah, she is. But the way I was raised was with those two fitting together. So like, I find myself in the language of some things. I even was defending. I was like, oh, we just sound so hippy dippy. And like, but that's not even really fair because the way that he presents his ideas is so connected to physiologically proven science, to just like the book that we read the chapter of 7 Spiritual Laws of Success last night, which is a book I've read a couple times and Fabi's reading for the first time now, but it's this idea of melding like science and spirituality in a way that they make sense to me. And I just appreciate that because this world is so fucking crazy and none of us get it. None of us understand it completely. And some of us find hope and comfort in some religions and some of us find hope and comfort in other religions. And for me, when somebody can make the universe make sense to me, even if nobody else agrees with me, that is a comfort for me. That makes me feel so calm and so safe in my being on this planet. And I really appreciated how he did that. And I also appreciate just our generation for kind of letting that be okay. Like having that kind of come into more of the spotlight, just having it be more part of the conversation, I really appreciate. And the second thing is to just say, I was having a really bad day yesterday. And I remember just having, I mentioned this in the last video that I filmed on my channel. So if you're coming from there, you know bits and pieces. But we've had a month. We've had quite a month. It's just been an intense month. And yesterday I remember praying. I say praying. It is praying. I was just sending out.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah,
prayer.
it was a kind of a prayer. I was just sending out energy into the universe, asking for guidance. Like I was just like, I could really use a little help. I don't really know how to get my feelings to stop feeling so weird. If you could send anything, that'd be super cool. And this is just me being honest about how I believe and how I move through my spirituality. And 2 minutes later, we were sitting in front of this speech and he was just saying all of this stuff that hit me so deeply. And I really felt that. And I think that what's cool is that he made me feel.
Yeah.
And he made me make myself feel, which was really cool. And I just feel like he would be somebody who I would love to ask questions and who I would love to share thoughts, just ideas with. He's just so interesting. And he's so much smarter than me and so much more connected to himself that it would be so...
I also like the experience, what he went through.
Yeah.
When he was a monk for 3 years, he also said he wasn't allowed to look in the mirror for 3 years. And like...
They didn't really. I mean, like, he would glance at it, but you're not supposed to obsess with your appearance because...
And they have to shave their heads, so they don't have, like, this outside, like, I'm getting ready, and, like, I don't feel confident, or I have to look good or something. Yeah. Like, he also explained it. I don't want to try to explain it because I think I don't
We'll leave it down below,
it,
we will leave that conversation.
It's just like he said, you have to take care of the inside too, not just only from the outside. When you think about a car, when you only like polish it from the outside and like it stays clear, you take care of the outside, so it looks really good. But if you don't take care of the inside, so
the driver, like if you don't, he said if you don't feed the driver,
if you don't feed the driver, the car doesn't go anywhere because it doesn't have the driver. So it just looks good, but it's just in one spot. Yeah. So it doesn't experience like.
I will just say
new spots.
I'll close off my first one because I really do have a tendency to ramble. People always wonder why my videos are 20 minutes long and those are edited. Like this is really. Haley's gonna try to learn how to, first of all, not call herself Haley and talk about herself in the third person, but just I'll rein it in. But what I wanted to I'll add this tiny little thought before you can jump into your next person, which was one of the most incredible things he said was, he was like, I get it. In this world, you have to take care of your appearance. You have to be conscious of your body. People don't take you seriously certain ways if you just like don't care, literally don't look in a mirror. But he was like, get ready in the morning in front of the mirror. And then get ready in the morning with your eyes closed, get your energy together, prepare yourself both physically and mentally and energetically for every experience, because otherwise you're walking through your life asleep and halfway, if not 2/3 of the way, completely disconnected from everything that's going on around you. It was really cool. His interview was really cool. And I think it'd be really interesting to like also watch him eat spaghetti. Somebody so entirely put together trying to eat a really messy meal, like it's just gonna be funny. That's what I'm having at my dinner, like the most awkward food to eat, or like sushi, but only everybody has chopsticks, but nobody knows how to use them. Like me at every sushi restaurant.
So you eat it just as a fork.
Oh my god, isn't it the most embarrassing thing when you have to go, sorry, can I please have a fork? And they just look at you so judgmentally, and I'm like, yeah, I deserve that. I know.
I think the podcast is just like taking so long because you have like from each person this incredible cool things.
Yeah, and we really dive into
topics. And like when you dive really into it, like each person takes like 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if we do like 5 people each, we are here for like 6 hours. So
we don't have to do everyone. We can just kind of go till we're ready to wind down. I think we should at least try to each do a couple more. And the podcast so far hasn't actually been all that long. And Joe Rogan goes for a couple hours at a time. So we'll see how long this podcast goes. And then we'll see when you guys get bored. You can let us know if it's too long. You can let us know if it's not long enough. But yeah, we will do better. We did plan like a full podcast. Mm-hmm. And then we had a full podcast about introducing the podcast because my brain was a little bit too all over the place.
That's fine. Like the first one is then a little bit longer, but
yeah,
I think
we'll tweak things. We'll find our rhythm for sure. All right, so we just took a little bit of a pause, a required pause because of the battery. And we were talking and we looked at how long we've been going so far. Realized the wide variety of topics we've covered: dogs chasing us in Thailand and misplaced waterfalls and just like everything. Like we touched on quite a bit for our first ever podcast. And we just planned too much for one because we didn't know we would talk as much as we did in the beginning. And so it's late. Like we have to go to bed kind of soon. So we were thinking that it would actually be kind of nice. How many times can I say kind of? One more time. It would be kind of nice if we could kind of. It would be kind of nice if we could just close out this podcast. Get a little bit of feedback from you guys. If you want to hear more about the people that we're inspired by, because I still stand by that. I think it's a really great way to get to know people. Mm-hmm. I think we have so many people we want to talk about, so many people we want to praise and thank, and
yeah,
just
we
like
can just do like kind of a part
two, or like one that's, because we each only did one person, and like we have Casey Neistat we want to gush over, and Jenna and Julian, and just all these other creatives, people you guys probably haven't even heard of because they're on such a small scale. Like we have so many people that we do definitely want to dive into. Just not sure if like this late in the evening with the sun set and our energy running a bit low is the best time to keep going. But this was so fun for me, at least. Like you do want to wind it down for today, yeah? Yeah,
I think we can wind it down and let.
It was my idea.
I think it was good. Like if we felt really good.
Yeah.
It was a first podcast. Like we talked a lot, and
yeah,
we talked each about one person at least. And if you guys like that, we can do a part 2. And
yeah, I think for it was a cool experience. It was really cool for us to sit down and finally do it. We've been talking about it for so long. I'm really proud of us. I am really proud of us, and I'm so glad that I'm glad it didn't feel weird. I mean, it felt a little weird, But we're going to work through that. When is anything that you try for the first time not really weird? I hope that the fact that we like took a big jump into religion and spirituality and all of that good stuff didn't bother anyone. I'm speaking completely full of love for anyone who believes in anything. Just share in a positive way with understanding for people who have different beliefs and yours. And we're friends. We're good.
We just want to use that to have new experience, new interactions, to talk, to like get our ideas out, our thoughts into the world, and see like what you guys think, as
a way also to connect with each other. This is really cool to be creating together. It's really, really fun for us. We were so excited. Like I said, we went to Fabi's dad's house to get the camera battery, and we like ran back upstairs. We were so excited to keep going. It's fun for us. It's like, it's also, as a creator, for me, it's something very different. This is a completely different side of me than the internet's ever seen, and so nerve-wracking, and I felt myself be so nervous and cringy, especially at the beginning, and that's fine. Everybody's gonna be like that, and I promise I'll get better. Please don't give up on this podcast just because I like called myself Haley once. That was really not cool.
Well, Haley, you did a really, really, really good job. And I think
you did really well as well.
I did too, maybe a little bit.
No, you did incredible.
It's our first time, like you said, and the ending part takes us the same long
as the beginning.
Length, the same length than the beginning. So
I think it's same length. I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of
we can
the same
stop.
how we like.
We have
say
actually
goodbye.
Okay, but actually we have like a couple seconds until the SD card is full, so we'll wind down. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you guys loved it. We both hope you guys loved it. If you want to leave us a comment down below, let us know some things you want us to talk about, or just share any ideas or opinions that you had. Respectfully, they're always welcome. Any comments you guys want to leave. We love you all. Thank you for listening to the Our Wild Thoughts podcast, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Oh, yay. That was
made it.
Fun. Oh, I can finally take off my eyelash.
Still on camera.
Oh my god. Those are like, have you ever been tired and then tried to lift weights with your eyelids? It's like that, only worse because there's like glue